This is Jonathan Becker reporting from Pro Tour Los Angeles 2005. I know last year in Columbus we did a series of deck clinics to explain the combo decks that were really neat that were going on, and this year we're going to try to do the same thing. I'm here with Greg Weiss. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, how are you?
Greg is sitting at 5-1 right now with a really unique kind of combo deck. It's pretty cool. You may not have heard Greg before. You certainly heard of some of the decks he's participated in. What have you designed or participated in design, Greg?
Well, I used to build decks for Jordan Berkowitz when he was active, and I made a couple of his that he did really well with. I made one of the very first solitary confinement squee decks. That was a pretty good way to build that. And also I made a mono brown deck in the Pro Tour where everyone was playing Tinker, which was pretty good because instead of trying to use all the mana to do explosive things, we did the opposite and played 4 Chalice, 4 Sphere of Resistance, went the opposite direction. And it worked pretty well. He made top 32 there.
Okay, now I know you're playing cards in here that nobody's ever played and constructed before, Living Hive and a lot of other crazy cards. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the deck and then maybe show us a hand and how it works.
Okay, well, this deck came about in I will look at you. This deck came about when we were trying to think of what spells win the game when you cast them, and Patriarch's Bidding came up. So I scanned the new set for cards with haste just to see if there was anything interesting, and we came across Flame-Kin Zealot, which happens to be an elemental. So thus was born the deck LA Mental. So we went through and looked for the best kinds of elementals possible, and the whole goal is to put them in the graveyard and then bidding them back up and swing for 40-something damage.
All in one turn and bam, from nothing.
If you have to, you can wait a turn if you don't get one of the Zealots, but you're still left with some pretty big guys in play.
Okay, hey, why don't you show us a draw, maybe see if there's a mulligan draw on top or a regular draw you would keep, and then maybe we'll see how the deck runs.
Right, okay. So I'll pick up 7 cards here. Okay, now what we've got here are 2 of the elementals that we want to be in the graveyard. And we've got some mana, and we've got the key card in Patriarch's Bidding, and a cheap spell in Mental Note. However, we can't keep this card because even though this draws a card at random, you're not going to get to the Cabal Ritual, which is very important in being able to cast this quickly. So although it's got a mix, it's not a keeper.
Right, you'll be able to cock the trigger, but you're going to be able to actually pull it and go off.
That's a very spicy way to put it. Let's get these out of here and pick up another 7. All right. This happens to be one of the best draws you could possibly get with this deck, which is going to lead to probably a turn 2 kill. Either that or something very close. So what we do with this hand is we want to lead off by playing Careful Study. It's not really important if you use the island or the grave. So let's just put out the island first and cast Careful Study. We're going to add 2 cards to the hand. And then we're going to have to discard 2. And 2 of these cards really want to be in the graveyard, and that's these 2.
Okay, and the Stinkweed Imp is, of course, just to load the graveyard up.
Yeah, this is one of the new mechanics that we've seen in the Ravnica set of Dredge 5, which is quite a lot of cards to flip over for no mana cost at all. You just replace a draw with it. So next turn, instead of drawing a card from the deck, I'm just going to draw this. And as a cost to that, we're going to dredge 5 cards. So I'm going to put this in my hand. That's not my hand, this is my hand. Flip cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now notice, have Threshold already, and it's only the second turn. So this is going to be an easy game. Just play the Watery Grave. You're going to pay 2 life. So now we've got black-blue. We have Threshold. So we're going to cast Cabal Ritual, which is going to add 5 to the pool, and a Patriarch's Bidding, which is going to bring all elementals back. These don't matter right now.
He knocks Andrew Pacifico out of the tournament 2-1.
Now what this does is it brings back a fairly small bidding, but remember, this is the second turn. So each of these is going to give every other creature +1/+1. So these are going to be 4/4 each. This is going to be 8/8. So we're attacking here for a total of 16, which, okay, is not a turn 2 kill, but this guy's going to make 8 tokens. So now your opponent on the second turn is going to be staring down a lot of damage and a lot of tokens. And from there, if you can't win the game, there's something wrong with you.
All right, when does the deck go off on average? I mean, is it a turn? It's not turn 2 all the time, but is it turn 3 or 4 pretty consistently?
We'd like to see turn 3. It's about a little less than half the time. And turn 4, you should be pretty good. Now, of course, that's without disruption. And cards like Cabal Therapy out of an aggro deck, that's really going to hurt. But you can come back, and unlike other combo decks that need a series of cards in your hand, this one can top deck just about anything and win.
So you could have almost nothing on the table, nothing in your hand, and pull Twilight's Call or Bidding, and bam, 43 points a day.
Yeah, one of the great parts about this is, although you need Cabal Ritual to cast this early, it only costs 5 total, so at some point you'll probably get 5 mana, either on the 5th turn, naturally, or on the 4th turn with the Chrome Mox.
And what's your best matchup? What's your worst matchup?
The best matchup is going to be a deck without any disruption, because that allows me to Goldfish and just do whatever I want and try to win on the 3rd or 4th turn. The worst matchup is going to be a deck that has counterspells, because the deck isn't set up very well to handle counterspells. We have some ways around it, but I'm going to have to go to the sideboard to beat that. But I already did beat a Tog deck today.
All right, congratulations, and good luck with the rest of it tomorrow.
Thank you very much.